Randy, I remember you saying years ago that it was a lonely process writing a book.
Mm.
You got me thinking, what would it be? What was it like for you to write your first book? How did you get started? And what was the process that you went through?
Mm. I'd written a number of articles, some newspaper things, and you get immediate feedback when you're writing for a newspaper. When you're writing an article in a magazine, it's usually within 3 or 4 months of the time that you turn it in, you see it in print. But here I am now writing a book for the first time, doing extensive research, writing for a year before even my editor sees anything, and then when he sees it, it's just him. And I'm really thinking, wow, this is so lonely because I'm not getting any feedback. You prepare a message, you get up, you preach, which I was a pastor at the time, and then you got feedback. So maybe you spent a week or two preparing, but you know how it went.
Right.
People have been touched by it, hopefully. And if it was bad, you know it was bad, But with the book, you're thinking, is this going to be any good? And how would I know? This is the first time I've ever done it. I've talked with friends who were in construction before, and I've asked them the question, what was it like building your first house? And their answers are very similar to what it was like for me to write my first book, because the first time you do something, you are full of self-doubt, you're questioning yourself. And I told people after I wrote Christians in the Wake of the Sexual Revolution, my first book, that basically I have learned how not to write a book. I learned the mistakes. I learned the things that you shouldn't do. Now later, when I was writing my first novel, Deadline, which was about 1992, 93, I was doing the background research for it. It involves a journalist, and I'm going down to the Oregonian newspaper. I'm interviewing different journalists, and I'm interviewing homicide detectives, and we're going to crime scenes and all of this. And I'm saying, this is fascinating. I'm loving it. But when I would actually get home, and again, it's late at night, sometimes even in the middle of the night, I put the kids to bed. By then the kids were a bit older, but when they were younger, you put the kids to bed, you're there with your wife, and now you go to work because you got to be a pastor the next morning. And you're writing, I was writing in the middle of the night, often till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm asking myself, what am I doing writing a novel? I can't write fiction. I'm a nonfiction writer. So you have some of the same self-doubt. And I actually didn't have a book contract for a long time with Multnomah Publishers related to Deadline, my first novel, because I said, I am not going to give this to you if it's no good. You have to be convinced that this is something that's decent. And by the way, I don't think it's an extremely well-written novel. I did the best I could at the time. My later novels are better written, but somehow God has taken that story that's in Deadline. And as you know, you've seen many of the letters. People just, whatever reason, have
In fact, my
responded
own
to that book.
son-in-law came to faith in Christ from reading Deadline.